Hey there. I wanted to just post a little video from my chemo chair. I'm sitting here getting my second round of chemo, my medicine going in right there. And my IV all set. And we're rocking and rolling here. A couple more hours to go. It takes 5 hours total to put all the medicines in, but I'm feeling good. I just had something that I wanted to share that I hope will bless someone. In the process of going through all the testing and procedures to determine if I had cancer, the extent of the cancer, treatment, all those things, I had to do this one really invasive kind of biopsy, which is called a MRI guided biopsy, and it was really kind of scary, and I was nervous about it. And as I sat in the waiting room, I found myself praying similar to the scriptures, like Jesus prayed in the Garden of Gethsemane, the night that he was betrayed and turned over to be arrested. I prayed, I asked God, I said, will you let this cup pass from me? You know, similar to what Jesus did, he asked the Father if this cup of suffering, this thing that he was due to endure, if there was any way that God could spare him of it. But he said, but not my will, but yours be done. And I found myself praying that same exact prayer that day, that if God could spare me from this cancer diagnosis and all the treatments that would come along with it. But at the same time, more importantly, I wanted his will to be done in my life and not mine. Well, you know, through this process, I've been journaling a lot, and God has told me and given me this promise that through this season for me, that there would be a radical salvation for my total family, my husband and my kids. And so I'm really clinging to that every day. And it kind of gives me the peace and the fight to face the days, no matter what they hold, knowing that there is an amazing purpose that God has in all of this. And the other day when I ended up shaving my head, I had Mark and my girls all around me. My son Mello wasn't up for it. It was a little too much for him, so he left the room. But it was a really emotional time, and my hair was falling out. I had all these like patchy bald spots, and some of my hair was long, some of my hair was gone. It just looked kind of really creepy. I looked like a cancer patient, and so I was really upset and just kind of felt ugly and unrecognizable. I was crying. Mark was crying, my girls were crying, they were holding me and hugging me, and Mark was shaving my head while he just sobbed over me. I could feel his little tears dripping on the top of my bald head. He kept bending over and kissing it, and the girls were just super emotional, hugging one another, hugging Mark, and it was one of the most beautiful times in our family where we really pressed in and held on to one another and loved one another in a very vulnerable, real way. And, you know, I realized that I would never, ever want my hair back if it meant that I had to miss out on that moment. And I could see in that moment, and God reminded me as I sobbed into my towel, that he was there and that salvation was happening and that I could trust him. Unfortunately, right now, this cup is not going to pass for me, but his will is being done, and there's nowhere else in the world that I would want to be than right in the middle of the will of God, because in that place you are safe and you are blessed. So I'm continuing to pray for my family. I know that God is moving in amazing ways, and if I have to endure a little suffering for the glory of God and the salvation of my family, then I'm all in.